Well, hello. This is Rochelle, and thank you for joining me here on the Creative Retreat YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to be using a stamp set that is an older stamp set, but this kind of shape of the flower reminded me of some of the printables in the Faithful Digital, and I wanted to kind of recreate this flower. At first, I tried it with watercolor markers. I think it looks stunning, but I do know that these markers bleed through if you use it on an unprepped page. And so I didn't exactly want the bleed through for the next page as well. So I am going to test it in my Bible first. And I usually test my products in the very front or the very back of the Bible, on the content or the um, back where they have maps or verse references, etc. And this is the devotional for the month of July. So stamp, and it does bleed, so not going to use the watercolor markers, which you can obviously use if you don't mind the bleed through. But I grabbed one of these, or some of these Creative Retreat ink pads. This is a pigment ink pad, and I then only take the stamp's little top floral piece, and I leave out the stem and the leaves. I first tried this pink color, but it wasn't potent enough. So I remember I had this orange that kind of matches the colors in this month's devotional and digital kit. I would absolutely have loved to have the stamp set that comes with this kit, but then in the end made do with one of the older stamp sets that I have. And I actually am so in love with this end product, which I'm very sorry, and I do have to apologize in advance. The end of my video where I stuck down the title did not film correctly, and so that part is cut out, but I will take you all up to where I use alpha stickers just to type out or to spell out the title, which is For Such a Time as This. So I'm taking that stamp set, making sure to not stamp the stem and the leaves. I'm only stamping the top part of the flower, and I'm doing that kind of in a circle or around in a circle so that it has then this kind of flower shape. Of course, we're working in the book of Esther this month, for such a time as this, and I heard something this week that really struck me when thinking about Esther's life. And it was called, or the speaker mentioned, the domino effect of obedience. And even her uncle Mordecai told her that if she didn't stand up for God's people, help would come from another source. So God would make it happen regardless. But I can't help but think that if she did not act in obedience, how she would have missed out personally on the blessing and the benefit of being obedient. And this specific speaker said that if you feel stuck in your life, you should go back and look at the last instruction that God gave you that maybe you weren't obedient to. And chances are very good that you are probably stuck at that place. Meaning that if you act then in obedience, provided it's still a valid task and God hasn't given it to someone else, including the blessing of being obedient to someone else. But I've realized in my life too that where God speaks and I act in disobedience, which delayed obedience is also disobedience, I often miss out. For me, it's not that God can't raise up someone else to stand up in that place, but I miss out on the benefit and the blessing for me. So I just took a green gel pen and from the kind of center of the flower drew out a stem, a long stem, and then also just took a darker color and kind of filled in the stamen or the little centerpieces of those flowers. And in the end, this probably is one of my favorite pieces. It was so simple and so effective and just really pretty, coming out of those different stamp sets. So you can definitely use your stamp sets in different ways. And then just you'll see the kind of title out there that I used using some older tile alphas. And then that is that. Thanks for joining me. Hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.